Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Wednesday, the 18th of December, 2024, the year of 1 million transactions per second or more. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, so today we're just catching up with Riley Cyrus, who's been down at the Court of Appeal. Was it the Court of Appeal? The High Court today. Just going to give us an update on that. So before we start, let's cue the music.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Theyre node, you'll surely see.
I like to
There
listen to
we
the song.
go. We're on, mate. Right, how's it going? Tell us what you've seen today, then.
Hi. Interesting morning, to say the least. Turned up at the Royal Courts of Justice about half an hour early. It's a good job as well because it's such a huge building. Actually finding the courtroom took at least 10 minutes. And there's not even anyone to ask where to go. And the signs are quite deceptive, almost as if they don't want you to find it. But to say that building was made with a hammer and chisel would take some convincing, definitely.
Oh, so was it? It was the Royal Courts of Justice and not the High Court.
It was the Royal Court of Justice. The building's
Right.
absolutely superb, fantastic. Yeah.
Right,
where it
and
was.
any reason why it was in the Royal Courts of Justice and not the High Court? Is this because it was a contempt of court hearing?
I'm not sure, but at the last hearing, when they were deciding on the date, Judge Mela did say that it might be in the Royal Court of Justice and not in the Rolls Building. He didn't give any reason why. I'm sure there is a reason why, but well, obviously as well when I walked in, KC, Jonathan Hoff, and another member of the Bird and Bird team, they were in full robe and wig, and then obviously Mela
Really?
came in. Yeah, Mela came in and he was in a wig too. So
Maybe that's because in the High Court, which is meant to be the court of equity, they're meant to deal with the living, but again, it's an administration court, no jury there whatsoever. Whereas in the Royal Courts of Justice, again, they're meant to deal with criminal cases. So contempt of court is probably going to be like a criminal case. Which is why they were there. I'm just speculating, but that's probably the reasons. But makes me laugh when I see them like, oh, they're all wigged up. I just think I know what they're up to. Contempt of court, malfeasance in public office, absolutely outrageous. Wearing those wigs all dressed up. It's a massive deception, But yeah, tell us.
so would they, like, if they are going to find him in contempt and sentence him, Jonathan Hoff was asking for 2 years, would that not need to be done with a jury?
Well, yeah, officially, but we know how corrupt the courts are these days.
Right, okay. Because there was no jury there unless you class the viewing gallery, who were obviously BTC maxis predominantly. I wonder what way they're going to vote.
So
you know.
you saw Tufty the cat this morning.
Yeah, Tufty was there, very very well dressed. He looked very smart in his suit jacket and tie. He had a festive tie on. Yeah, he looked very smart. Didn't get a chance to speak to him. No, I didn't hang about. I just left as soon as it finished.
Did you recognise anyone else?
No, I didn't have a clue who anyone was. But there was a few characters there, to say the least.
Oh, really?
But yeah, there was like different age groups, different creeds, dressed very differently. Like all quite, I would say, unique and individual in their own way. But I didn't know who any of them were.
Right, okay. So tell us what went on. What did you see and hear and all that? You've said there's a post there where you said King's Counsel Jonathan Hoff does not look happy at all. Mela is now offering a
he,
remote link for Craig for his hearing. Jonathan Hoff doesn't
yeah,
think this should be allowed, and be rewarded for his decision not to come. Jonathan Hoff says we should proceed in his absence. Was one
yeah.
of the
Well,
posts.
that Hoff didn't look happy at all. Basically, he said that they had received an email at 9:39 this morning from Craig, basically saying I can't come because I have no means of travel. And then Hoff's like, this is ridiculous. They sent something back saying, well, we will pay for you to come. um, Obviously, given short notice. And I don't think Craig replied until about 10 to 11. So when after the first break, he then addressed the court and said he's replied saying, I need £240,000 for the next 6 months. So you're going to have to pay that. And then Craig gave another few reasons as to why he couldn't come, even if that was the case. But I didn't catch what he was saying. I didn't catch what he was saying there.
Oh, okay. So was this a message being relayed by Jonathan Hoff, or was Craig actually on video link?
No, there was no video link.
Okay.
Like Mela offered the video link, which I don't know if it was a token gesture. I don't know if he really wanted to give him the video link, but he suggested it, and then Hoff just went no, and then Mela's just like agreed with Hoff. Yeah, and then yeah, so what they're saying as well is that they need to invite him to come tomorrow for the sentencing. and and I'm thinking, well, it was about 12:30 at the time. He's over in the Far East Asia, Indonesia or Singapore. I've been to Singapore before, and I know you're not getting home in anything less than 13 hours. Yeah, that's if you get a direct flight. If he hasn't got any flights booked, I don't actually think it would have been feasible for him to get to London by 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Good.
What they're
I
saying.
I didn't really
They're
want him to
saying.
turn up anyway.
Yeah, well, I was when I walked in, the court was full. It wasn't a very big room. It was full. The viewing gallery was full. The press box was full. I
Wow.
managed to I managed to find myself a little seat in the corner, out the way, and then I'm looking at Bird and Bird, and they had a football team with them, 11 aside, and I think there may have even been two or three in the viewing gallery who were part of Bird and Bird too. There was 11 of them there, and then obviously the press box was full, and the viewing gallery there was, well, I would say, probably 50 people in that courtroom. There was people stood up, people didn't have seats, people sat on steps. Um,
Whoa.
yeah, yeah. So
Whoa.
I imagine
Whoa.
I imagine there won't be as many tomorrow because I think a lot of them came um, wanting to see Craig in person. I don't think there'll be as many tomorrow. Like one of the guys I was speaking to, Jack BSV, he said he was there too. He was commentating on it. He said he can't make it tomorrow, so that's at least one less person that's going to be there. I don't even know what time it is tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm having a look on the court list there, and there's nothing as of yet for the 19th of December.
And any indication as to what Mela might do tomorrow?
Well, Hoff was asking, I think I tweeted about it. Hoff said, let's look for, what did he say? Let me see if I can find it. Let's look for 2 years, custodial, and no less than 18 months. And Mela like kind of laughed and said, we'll see. Mela didn't speak very much. It was basically just Hoff monologuing for long periods.
What was he
Mela
monologuing about?
just basically all the reasons why Craig is in contempt here. You know, he's basically saying you can't claim a passing off case without claiming to be Satoshi at the same time. He's basically going through the judgment from.
How did he justify that? Because Craig is coming at this passing off case as an investor.
He is saying that Craig doesn't have goodwill. He doesn't have the goodwill of Bitcoin. he doesn't own that, and if he does own that, he's saying that he is Satoshi.
Smells like
So,
bullshit to me.
so that they are finding him in contempt for that reason. It was a little bit like basically Craig hasn't turned up, so they've just decided that he's guilty. So Hoff is giving his arguments unopposed, and then he's going through Craig's skeleton arguments as to why he's not in contempt and basically ridiculing them. And him and Mela had a couple of little laughs here and there. Yeah, it wasn't really good to see. Really, there was no one fighting Craig's corner. Yeah.
Hmm. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Because I don't think no lawyer or anyone registered to the Bar Association is going to do Craig any favors whatsoever. However, if I knew somebody could actually represent Craig, well and properly, with clean hands and good intentions, that would be great. But you'd have to have confidence that that individual knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, Craig, he could have just sent in his birth certificate, because that's what this is all about. I think that even if he'd just given it to someone and say, look, can you take this into court, he would still have been there in person, because that's what a person is. Person is a corporate entity. So you've got your birth certificate.
I tweeted that when Mela came out. I said, "All rise," and then I put in brackets, "raising the dead."
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've just found the tweet here. So, King's Counsel Jonathan Hoff saying that only a substantial custodial sentence of 2 years and no less than 18 months should be bestowed upon Craig if he is found guilty. It's almost as if they've already decided that he's been found guilty of contempt. I mean, the way it went on, it was quite bizarre, really.
Well, that's what any opposing counsel has to do. They come from they come from that angle that he definitely is. That's the whole point of having a defense, is that you put up a defense to that initial argument, because it's all about presumption. Presumption of innocence, presumption of guilt. Blah 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 blah. So that's what they'll be doing. But the entire point of this process is just to simply protect the City of London, which is the Rothschild central banking system. There's no it's all the 12 presumptions of court. I mean, it's corrupt as fuck. But I think that what Craig is doing eventually it will expose the courts, because again, the courts are all being paid by people's CSW trust, and they can only be paid out by someone's CSW trust if they're paid in fiat currency, which is printed by the bank. And if the world started operating on Bitcoin, they just wouldn't be Bitcoin to pay out. Literally, the whole thing is a massive criminal enterprise. It's insane. And so I honestly think that even no matter what happens, even if they find him guilty, Craig, I personally think that Craig should just stay out, just keep his nose out of things until Terranode comes on.
Yeah.
Bring Terranode on next year, 2025, the year that Terranode comes alive, and then when the market decides, you can just simply use the BTC Maxis argument against them. Market's decided, BSV is Bitcoin, Craig is Satoshi. That's it. You want to go against the market because the market is really all they're bothered about. I mean, this is why the BTC Maxis are the way they are, because they think market has decided, when really it's only Tether that's made number go up. So
there was
they've got no loyalty to anything at all.
Yeah, the champagne passing off got mentioned, and promissory estoppel got mentioned, and Jonathan Hoff basically said it was legal nonsense, teaching judicial grandmothers how to suck eggs. Yeah, that got a laugh out of Mela too.
Did it really?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Not exactly professional conduct, is it?
Well, you wouldn't have thought so. Dr. Wright is the owner of the goodwill in the name of Bitcoin. Jonathan Hoff claiming Dr. Wright is not intelligent. Yeah, he said if someone was intelligent, then they wouldn't have wrote this. Um,
Wrote what?
the way his claim, he was just basically just dissecting his claim. Um,
Claim of what, being Satoshi, or claim of the
no, no,
passing
no.
off?
The passing off.
Okay.
He said as well that Craig's assertion of ownership of goodwill is not claiming he is Satoshi. Oh, this is what Craig said. Basically, Hoff is now speaking for Craig, so he's saying about Craig's amended claim. Craig left it in the same paragraph format, but he changed the numbers. He's saying his assertion of ownership of goodwill is not claiming that he is Satoshi. This is what Craig's saying. And then Hoff is saying this is legally absurd, and Craig is squirming as to not breach the order, obviously finding him in contempt. Yeah.
Right, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens tomorrow then, really.
Well, this is the thing.
They
If
were
they,
desperate to get him in today, though, weren't they?
well, yeah, but if they do, if they, well, it looks like they've already found him guilty. If they do sentence him to custodial sentence of 2 years, I think 2 years is the most you can get for contempt. Given the way the um, judicial system is right now with the prison overcrowding, I think you would do 40% of that. And I don't think they're going to put an international bench warrant out to extradite someone for contempt. So if Craig isn't here and he's still free, then I think that's all that matters, really. You know,
Yeah, I agree with
this is
that.
just this is just another sideshow. And obviously, I think one of the guys, Timothy Swan, wrote about it doesn't really matter what's going on. BSV is doing 90 million transactions per day for
Yeah,
negligible
yeah,
fees,
yeah.
whereas BTC struggles to break 500,000 transactions per day. So
Yeah.
whether whether Craig is Satoshi or whether he is in contempt, or it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, not really. Not in the long scheme of things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, as well. Mela said that Dr. Wright only got interested in Bitcoin in 2014. That was the one of the many few things that Mela did say. And then Hoff corrected him, saying no, it was 2013. And then they were saying that there was no reliable evidence that he ever mined Bitcoin in the early days. I think they must have been referring back to the previous Satoshi identity trial. Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder where they got that reference of 2013 from, because it was 2014 when Craig was interviewed by the Australian Tax Office, saying that he had um, been mining Bitcoin since 2009. We've also got the Facebook post where Craig mentions Bitcoin on the 10th of January 2009.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that
Was
hasn't
that
been
was that
hasn't been brought up.
was that admitted into evidence in the Satoshi identity trial?
I don't think it was. Certainly wasn't brought
Uh,
up.
okay.
And
Um,
it was Gizmodo. It was I think it was either Wired or Gizmodo magazine that actually published that.
yeah, I remember you saying that. Hoff was saying that his damages of claim of relief for the passing off case are founded on him being Satoshi. Basically, they just tried to say that he was in contempt. There was about 9 different reasons, and he read through every single one of them. And then when he was done, he even mentioned the social media post, um, even though that had been withdrawn. And I was like, why is that? Why have you even brought that up? Because they withdrew that claim anyway. So yeah, I'm glad he didn't come because I don't think he would have. He wouldn't have been given a fair trial, so to speak. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see whether he'll get because I don't know. I know a few people that have been in trouble with the law recently, and they've been handed suspended sentences for far greater crimes than allegedly being in contempt. So, yeah, we'll have to see what they decide on tomorrow, I guess. I think Mela said if you can get your transcript across to my clerk, then yeah, he's looking to get it all done and dusted by tomorrow. So I wonder if that was what Tufty was referring to when he said something's going to happen to Craig before Christmas.
Well, so long as it's nothing kind of physical, no harm comes to him, which I think Craig avoided today, luckily.
Yeah.
But I wonder how they can say that Craig didn't have an interest in Bitcoin until 2013, when Craig posted the Bitcoin white paper to the Social Science Research Network on the August 21st, 2008. Yeah, date written August 21st, 2008. And that's actually entitled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system.
And there was a part during the hearing today where Hoff was talking, and I don't know if he was speaking on behalf of Craig, but he said, "Oh, we all know that Craig posted the white paper onto the Bitcoin.org website."
He said that.
I'm almost certain. I'd like to get the minutes. Let me see whether he was speaking on, because it's so hard to keep up, And to be fair, the few times that Mela did speak, Mela spoke so very quietly, I couldn't even hear what Mela was saying, to be fair. He was nowhere near the microphone. Let me see if I can find, because this will have been one of the most, right, what time is it now? 3? Yeah, it would have been roundabout then, I would imagine. Yeah, basically, I'm almost certain he said that we know Craig posted the white paper. Or he may, it didn't sound like he was speaking on behalf of Craig. I can't find it. If I find it, I'll send you it. Yeah, so another day down.
If you could find, because I'm sure at some point someone in the opposing party will slip up a Freudian slip and say something like you've literally just mentioned, where they said, "Oh yeah, we all know that Craig posted the Bitcoin white paper to Bitcoin.org." Something like that will just simply trip off the tongue because they're too busy, trying to scam him. Something like that will probably come out, and it's like, "Oh, hold on a minute. What do you mean you know that Craig posted the Bitcoin white paper to Bitcoin.org? How do you know that?" I'm sure because they're only human, Humans are not infallible.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
And I wonder why some of this evidence hasn't been just posted to the court. Like, Craig's paper to Northumbria University, where Satoshi Nakamoto plagiarized what he'd said.
Yeah, I seen something the other day as well. No, obviously because they're saying that he writes, he gets AI to write his posts and stuff. And there was a post he made before AI, and he fed it into the AI system, and they came back and said, "Yes, this is AI." And Craig said, "Well, this was written way before AI, so how could it possibly be?"
Exactly.
I thought that was quite funny.
Amazing. Did you get to see any of the other faces on any of the BTCs? Were they a bit peeved that Craig didn't turn up, or did they?
They didn't look very happy, I don't think. And to be fair, when it became apparent at the end that they're going to be sentencing him tomorrow, I didn't even stick around to see if any of them were celebrating. I just went. But I think they all wanted him there in person.
Yeah, they probably would have made a spectacle out of it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, from the situation that I'm in, it's just we'll have to see what the universe, have to see what the universe brings. Um, because either way, at the moment, I kind of have to believe in some kind of divine plan. Um, just because of what we're actually up against and how big the conspiracy is. So we just got to hope that the universe plays out in our favour.
Well, sooner or later it has to, doesn't it? Sooner
Uh,
or later.
you'd think so. You'd think so. It's I mean, this is certainly the last hurrah. But I mean, we've seen what happened in the past. Everybody else that's tried to go up against this lot has failed spectacularly because they're so powerful and they've been doing this for such a long time without anybody knowing. Um, this is we're literally on the front lines of this, and Craig is leading the charge with Bitcoin.
Yeah. What do you make about his excuse not being able to come, being a monetary problem?
Did he say it was a monetary problem or a travel issue?
No, he said that he didn't have the means to travel. Basically, he didn't have the money. And then Corporate responded and said, "We will pay for you to come."
Well, I mean, means isn't necessarily completely financial. Means is the availability of transport.
Yeah, well, they mentioned that, well, in when we broke for 5 minutes, Craig had emailed them back, and it was like 10 to 11, so the court was already in session. And he basically said, "I need £240,000," but then like another list of stipulations as to why he can't come. And then Hoff was saying, well, he paid 10 million for the court costs earlier this year, so he should have the money. Um, yeah, I thought it was quite interesting that he said that he can't come because basically he couldn't fund it. Um, I thought that would wind them up somewhat. You know, it's
Yeah.
almost as if he's like trying to goad them a little bit, trying to goad them, saying, "No, I don't have the money." Well, you must have the money because you are Satoshi and you have 1.1 million Bitcoin in a tulip trust.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Craig has already said this a long time ago. He said he literally has nothing in his name, nothing.
Right.
So when he says I don't have the means to travel, he literally probably wouldn't have the means to travel because he has trustees, um, you know,
Right. Okay.
managing all his estate for him. So obviously, trustees and beneficiaries work quite closely with one another for each other's benefit. So the trustees might have said it's for your benefit that we're not going to give you the means to travel to your contempt of court hearing.
Yeah. Yeah. On my way back, I went past Parliament Square again. There was no tractors there today, but there was still some. There was some EU protesters, and then there
Really?
was some climate con protesters, and I had a little stop and I had a little look to see if I could see Piers, but I couldn't see him there. If I'd have seen him, I'd have stopped and had a chat with him for 10 minutes, but I couldn't see him there.
Oh,
Um,
that's all right. Well, we had a good chat with him when we saw him at the farmers' protest. No, I'm sure we'll get to a chat with them again. Um,
yeah, yeah, hopefully.
yeah, and the other gentleman that shall remain nameless for now. There was also we got to meet the following day that your family member recognised.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
we did. We did all right because he's also been asking about Bitcoin. And then obviously the big news yesterday was what's her name, Liz something or other.
or Liz Croken.
Liz Croken. So you'd heard of
Yeah,
Liz Croken because I've actually seen the movie. What is it? Is it Out of the Shadows or something like that, or Out of the Shadows
yeah,
into the Light?
yeah. She's been at the forefront of this for at least 11 years that I know of because I've been following her work for since like 2013. She is very, very brave. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she deserves all the luck in the world as well. Yeah, take my hat off to her.
She says here, she's got a post here that said, I'm starting a fund to raise money to pay for legal fees to fight X's censorship and targeting of my account that's preventing me from making the money I've rightfully earned and deserve off my hard work and content I've contributed to this platform. I wonder what Elon Musk is actually trying to do. She said this fund will also be used to fund my independent journalism, so I continue to report on sex trafficking and exposing the elite paedophile rings like Jeffrey Epstein, since X has robbed me of the income I've earned for years now. I think Elon Musk has got some questions to ask there, or questions to answer there. By the sound, yeah, it was Out of the Shadows movie. Wow, yeah. But she had responded to Truth Machine's one of Truth Machine's posts, and she'd said, "Wow." Joe, I haven't actually read that. I think I might see if I can find that now.
I think she was asking the question, who is Satoshi? I think she's been messaging. I think she's been messaging Gavin too. So I think Gavin's trying to organise a space with her. So if he does, I think you need to jump on that space and get yourself at the front with a microphone.
Yeah, it looks like she's actually responded to Truth Machine. So Truth Machine's post said, this is December the 9th. This is interesting. President Trump's new crypto czar David O. Sachs is producing a film about Satoshi Nakamoto, inspired from the book by Andrew Hagen, who was originally contracted to tell Dr. Wright's story of being the creator of Bitcoin. And then he's just got an article here saying film about Bitcoin founder and development. Sophia Banks to direct, and then underneath that, Liz Kroen had just literally put 2 eyes, and then John Wayne had said here, and Craig is a former pastor, a Christian, a patriot, an Australian. What he created is a once in a 6,000-year opportunity to take control away from the controllers. He gave Martin Malmy access to work with him on Bitcoin to bitcoin.org website. Then Satoshi Craig was locked out of his website and lost control of Bitcoin. And that's when Liz Kroen had posted, "Wow, amazing." So then I added my little bit. I don't know if she's seen it. I just said, "Liz, this is for you." The rise and rise of Craig Wright, and then COVID-19. What's the connection with Bitcoin? Yeah, I doubt she's seen those, because she's got 460,000 followers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was exactly. That was like one of the first thing I looked at, just to see sort of how many followers she did have on that. And when I saw it was 460,000, I had the same response as you. Like, whoa.
Well, a few years ago, I'm pretty sure her Twitter handle got removed. She was like, her account was removed off Twitter, really? Because she's a big Donald Trump fan too. She loves Donald Trump.
Good.
Yeah.
Is what I would
so
say to someone.
She is she's a good girl, definitely, 100%.
Right. Well, that sounds all good, mate. So far, honestly, when I heard that Craig wasn't turning up, I felt a huge sense of relief. I was genuinely concerned about him being there. I was like, what on earth have these bastards got planned for him? Because it certainly can't have been anything good. And really, all they want is to get their clutches onto him. That's all. They basically want him to walk into their trap, and then that's their way of saying, well, you've accepted this. And so by not playing their games, he's effectively forcing them to break the rules. So if suddenly Mela puts out this court where if somebody is in contempt of court, and then hold on a minute, well, that court that he's saying that Craig was in contempt of court of was actually a contempt of court in itself, which could easily be put in, then that could open up a whole can of worms for them.
Did you see Craig's tweet?
I probably didn't. I'll just log on to his profile. Right, so I've got his profile in front of me. 3 hours ago. So in response to Amir Taki, who said, this is the truth. The core team wanted time to try Lightning Network. It was complex and took a lot of work. It failed. Now they should step aside and disband, make Bitcoin a neutral standard, allow client competition, no more core monopoly, just the free market. And now we will let layer 2s and full on-chain privacy. It requires far less work than the complex Lightning experiment. There is no excuse not to. Both are now well-studied solutions. You guys chucked out Gavin and crew for blocking new devs moving up. Now you're doing the same. Don't be like the hero of the revolution that turns into a hated dictator. On-chain privacy and layer 2s could forever change the world. Bitcoin should be a standard with formal roles and clear governance. It doesn't actually need governance, but they don't understand commodities. We have Bitcoin improvement proposals, but that was made in 2011. It should not be one opaque dev team on GitHub. There should be many teams. Why does core have special status? Shut it down. And that was in response to Eric Wall, who'd said, we have one last shot at inserting new functionality into Bitcoin before all of us every last soul will become the remnants of an early Bitcoin fan club that no one cares about anymore. If we do not take this shot, this is where the story ends. Bitcoin as digital gold. Impotent as a peer-to-peer money, in the best case funneled around a web through hosted centralized servers, providers with no privacy, too tricky to self-custody for normies. Replacing gold is cute. We need Lightning without channels. We need vaults for safe custody. We need second layers for privacy. That is the difference between Bitcoin gunning for a $17 trillion target as digital gold and gunning for a $170 trillion target to start with as universal hard money. This decision is yours. We need to oil the soft forking machine before it becomes completely stale and stuck in its tracks. We have momentum now. We have near universal developer consensus on governance as the next soft fork. We just have to agree on the last specifics. Bitcoin is the most important asset in crypto and the most important project you've dedicated yourself to in your life. The time to act is now. One last ride for the Roy Him. Now for Ruin, now for Wrath and Red Draw. Interesting. So I've never heard of Eric Wall. I'll look at his profile. Oh, but that's because I blocked him a long time ago. Must be another shitcoiner talking about second layers. But he's got 157,000 followers. So Animar responded to that. And Craig's response was, they won't. Power is a sly bastard, a mutt with teeth sunk deep into the bone. The ones who have it, the sharp-dressed wolves and the soft-talking devils, they don't let go. No, not a chance. They clutch it, white-knuckled and sweating, as if it's the last drag of a cigarette in a world gone smoke-free. It's not the having that drives them mad, it's the fear of the losing. These men, these creatures, they build their lives on a foundation of stolen moments and silent screams. A mountain of backs they've climbed over, pressing the weak and the tired into the dirt. And still they'll tell you it's for your own good, that their grip is what keeps the machine humming and streets clean and lights on. But power is a drunk staggering down the alley, breaking windows just to hear the crash. It doesn't care who holds it, only that it's held tight and trembling. And those who've managed to snatch it know that once you've got it, the world tilts, the edges blur. The whiskey tastes sweeter, the nights grow longer, and the hands that once reached out to help now grope for your throat. The truth is, they don't hold power. It holds them, wraps around their throats like a noose disguised as a silk tie. But don't pity them. They choose this, they crave it, and when the time comes, when the mob is at the gates and the knives are out, they'll still cling to it, bleeding and broken because they can't imagine life without its weight. Power doesn't just corrupt, it devours, and they let it. For a fleeting moment, they were gods. Wow. He's deep. He is wide awake. He knows exactly what these bastards are up to.
That was right when the court was in session. That.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's brilliant. So he has foreseen everything that Bitcoin will undo and put right. But he's right about they can't imagine a world where they don't wield the power because they're just drunk on it.
Yeah.
And they're scared to let go. Is that the post you were talking about?
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. That was fantastic. And what do you make of AVP Arthur Van Pelt's post about Bitstamp?
Oh, what were they withholding his coins or something?
Do you know? I'll see if I can actually find it. So Arthur Van Pelt. Let's have a look at this.
I can't believe he would leave coins on the exchange. You know.
All these shitcoiners do.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, because they're shitcoiners, mate. Shitcoiners shit for brains. You know. It looks like the Arthur Van Pelt's handle isn't actually live anymore.
He'll have you blocked.
Maybe. But usually you can still see their posts. I'll see if there's any other reference to it.
Somebody said he was there today, but I don't know what he looks like. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh look, my legacy kit account suspended. No effing way. No, because that was another one that he ran was my legacy kit, and
Right.
Arthur Van Pelt is not. No way.
Is Arthur Van Pelt the guy who?
Oh, here we go. All right, I've got another one here. Right, let's see if we've found... Oh, do you want to see a picture of him? I'll send it to you.
Yeah, go on then.
Here we go. I'll send that to you on Signal. There we go. If you've never seen him before, now you've seen him.
Do you know what? He was there. He had that hoodie on as well.
Oh, there we go. The man himself. There's another one with him and Tufty the cat outside the Royal Courts of Justice.
Yeah. Did Tufty say that Craig was scared of Arthur Van Pelt?
He might have said that, but I certainly don't think I don't think that's legit.
So does that guy work with Tufty on the trying to dismiss the patents and stuff?
Yeah, they get paid.
Right, okay. Right, I get it.
So let's see. BitMEX said, here's the email that was related to Craig's contempt of court. There are a few other douchebags that have got their pictures taken with him. Oh my god.
Why is he famous?
What, Arthur Van Pelt?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Amongst all the BTC maxis, everyone knows him. He's a pain in the arse, mate. Yeah, I mean he does.
Proud to say I don't know him.
Yeah, best off just the guy's an absolute. Well, the guy, but he's a paid shill, you know.
Right.
And as a paid shill, he does a good job as a paid shill. You know, just literally just the amount of bullshit he comes out with, you know, because obviously he's paid to, so they certainly get value for money from him because he's relentless in what he does, as the cabal would expect them to be like that.
What is he on? Is he on X?
Yeah. I will send you. Here we go. I'll send you his link to his profile. There we go.
I will have a look. What are you going to do? Are you going to do a chart show?
Yeah. I think I will do that before I head off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transactions are above 80 million again.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's good. Yeah.
Beautiful. 81.9, almost back up to 82.
Yeah. I was listening to a space the other day. I think Kurt was on it, and he was saying that he doesn't know who's doing the transactions. And he's basically saying like nobody knows. You know, nobody at Tal knows either. He said.
Well, this is kind of like what I expected would happen, because Craig is literally the number one cybersecurity expert in the world, and
Yeah.
he would have created Bitcoin for a purpose, knowing the companies that needed the service that Bitcoin provides.
Provides. Yeah.
You know, so he's clearly going to be going to them. So and all companies want to have a competitive advantage over their competitors, and this is what Bitcoin brings in terms of you certainly digital efficiencies, digital securities, economies of scale in business, all this kind of stuff. So literally, Craig is just going to be going to all of his contacts and saying, "Look, this is what Bitcoin is for. This is how you use it." And they're certainly not going to be advertising to their clients that they're using BSV, because they want a competitive advantage over their clients. So, and again, this is what Bitcoin is all about. It's all about privacy.
Yeah.
A business is free to use the network and do whatever they like in order to create an economic advantage for themselves, and benefit from the efficiencies and secure and digital securities of the network. And when more people find this out, again, the world's going to go nuts for it, because it's literally the most valuable commodity on earth, because it's the only way you can actually commoditize data, which is securing it, meaning that it can't be cracked, hacked, altered, changed, deleted, or censored. And if you're a financial institution, you can't afford to lose a single record of a customer's transaction. So and now all those transactions that are held on corporate servers, that are basically susceptible to cyber security hacks and virus software, well, now they're all going to be on chain. It's massive. What's about to happen. So yeah, I'm not surprised that no one knows where these transactions are coming from, because those who are using it wouldn't want people to know, and everybody has the right to privacy.
And nobody needs to know. The only people who need to know, and everybody else doesn't need to know.
Well, exactly.
The fact that it's been going on now for 6 weeks suggests that they are real.
Yeah. And they certainly don't appear to be coming from wallets that have any links to Craig or anything like that. So it's looking good, mate.
Yeah.
I think that the future is bright. Fingers crossed.
Good stuff. Yeah. Well, I did think when we were in court, and like Hofford kept monologuing, and a lot of the stuff wasn't pertinent, so I was just sat there and I was just thinking, does this even matter really if BSV scales and the fees are negligible, and you've got Terranode around the corner? Does any of this even matter? It's all just like a sideshow, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was an avenue that certainly had to be explored. And if something did ever happen to Craig, or even if Terranode took off and the whole world suddenly realized that Bitcoin was BSV, now there is historical case studies of Craig trying to prove who he is, so that those people who have said all along that BTC is Bitcoin and Craig Wright is a fraud and BSV is a scam and blah 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 blah, well, how much evidence do you want? The market's decided this thing scales off the charts, it follows the protocol, and Craig has now got a history of trying to prove who he is for the last 4 years.
So do you think that was all part of his plan?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a good plan. I mean, what leg do the cabal have to stand on if the market suddenly does decide that Bitcoin is BSV? What they're going to do? Turn around and go, "Oh, Craig Wright's a liar and a fraud." Well, actually, he's Satoshi Nakamoto and BSV is Bitcoin, and he's been trying to prove it for the last 4 years. Here's all the evidence, and you're the ones that have been calling him a liar and a fraud. They're going to have questions to answer, mate. I would not want to be in their shoes. Poof, no way.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it's definitely a sword you wouldn't want to fall on.
Yeah, no way. A $2 trillion Ponzi scheme. Oof. That this lot have been promoting. Since 2017. And
Growing
then
more and more each day.
yeah, exactly. I mean, how what arguments or what justification are they going to fall back on when there's all this evidence that Craig has been trying to prove who he is?
Well, I always thought, like, when I read what BlackRock had written in their, not the terms and conditions, their,
The ETF filing.
yes, when they said they reserve the right to decide which chain is Bitcoin.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
like that was like fair enough. These guys have covered themselves,
yeah,
so they're
yeah,
covered. And then I used to listen to Sailor all the time. I really did appreciate his monologue, even if he doesn't know what Bitcoin is, because he used to only just say Bitcoin.
yeah,
He
yeah.
never, but over the last 6 weeks, he's started saying BTC and writing BTC. So I was like, well, you can't claim that you didn't know anymore because clearly you do.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but most of the other big wigs out there promoting BTC, they do refer to it as Bitcoin. It's just over the last 6 weeks, Sailor's clearly stated that he thinks BTC is Bitcoin.
Interesting. Well, I can already see that. I can already see what's going to happen. As they say in the Bible, the writing was on the wall. Yeah, but
Yeah.
in this case, I'd say the writing was in the sails. Michael
Well,
Saylor's sails.
yeah, somebody was saying yesterday, I think it was a Ruda Silva. He put one of his tweets out and basically saying that you know what's going to happen in the future. People are going to say, "Oh yeah, well that was obvious, wasn't it? BTC was obviously a scam, and it can only do 3 to 7 transactions per second, and the fees are exorbitant. It was never going to work." And you can see it happening, can't you? That's what people are going to say in the future. Yeah, I knew all along. I knew all along.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who those people are that say that.
Yeah.
But Michael Saylor has definitely blocked me. I've just logged onto his profile, and sort of like to view the tweets, and it says here in big black letters, Saylor has blocked you.
So can you still see the tweets or not?
Yeah. I can see the
I
tweets,
can
but
still see them.
it says Sailor has blocked you. They changed this when I blocked Jingles. So he's a big player in the BTC maxis because even though I blocked him ages ago, whenever I would log on, it would always say he wouldn't have like blocked, and I was just like, how has he been able to unblock himself? So finally, I unblocked him and blocked him again, and that's when suddenly X changed all the policies. So I call me a conspiracy theorist, just a coincidence, but I reckon they were just like, right, we really need to see what Satoshi's saying, even though he's only got like 3,000 followers, which is tiny compared to X and Michael Saylor with 3.8 million followers. But even Saylor with 3.8 million followers, he still made the effort to block my profile. I'm honoured.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an honor. I think he's blocked 369 as well.
I see.
He blocked him. Yeah, he blocked him too. So
Oh
you
dear, oh
guys are
dear.
obviously doing something right, aren't you?
Yeah. I wonder if he'll come grovelling one day, wanting to be unblocked, so he can communicate with us to find out what's going on.
To learn about the real Bitcoin.
Yeah. To learn about Ponzi scheming. Oh, what's a Ponzi scheme? Right, Michael, sit down. Let me tell you all about it. This
They'll
is where
probably
this
call
is
it.
where you went
They'll
wrong,
probably
mate.
call it a. They'll probably call it a sailor scheme by then, won't
Mate, I think you've just coined a phrase there. That is awesome. Ponzi
they?
scheming
I
in
can't.
Bitcoin is called Sailor. What did you call it again?
It's a sailor scheme. I
Sailor
can't take the credit
scheme.
for it though.
Sailor
Yeah, I
scheme.
heard somebody else say it. I heard
Really?
someone else say it a few weeks ago, basically saying Charles Ponzi's got nothing on Michael Saylor when this all comes collapsing. then
Sailor
I
scheming.
think we're probably going to. Yeah.
Loving that. Sailor scheming is Ponzi scheming in crypto. Oh,
Far
mate, that's
far greater
ace.
than what Charles Ponzi was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Massive. Massive. Oh my god. Right, mate. Well, thanks for being on the show. We've actually been chatting for 55 minutes.
Do you know what? I actually forgot we're on a show.
Yeah, mate.
I,
Yeah,
th- I, th-
it's
I
been
thought we
good.
were just having a phone call now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
55 minutes.
Honestly.
So I'll crack on with the chart show.
Right. Okay. No problem.
Right, it's been
Right.
awesome,
I'll
mate.
speak to you
I'll
later.
catch you soon. All right, mate. Have a good
Right.
one.
See you later. Bye bye.
Right, bye.
Bye.
There we go. What an epic show that was. That was great. Right, we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. So I'll jump on and probably do maybe a quick news show or a chart show. And we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.